What's up, guys? How's it going? And naturally, I have some stuff. So, I've got some more of our. I'm gonna see what we're gonna get here. I got three different types of avians here. We're gonna see what we get for a roll. Oh, it looks like we finally got the. At least we got one out of three that I was going for. The main thing is I'm trying to get what I've got in Quick Cat. Trying to fire that off on either Michelle or Deity. Either one would be totally cool. Now, these two have reverse control, and I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm trying to kind of dodge those, but like that one, good. So I will totally take that. Now with this one, I've got Against the Strong, Grudge Holder on it. And this one I've got Super Crowd, Grudge, and Shared. So we'll probably use this one with our Michelle here. That way we get kind of a combination. And then for the last one, I was going to use, let's just use one of the ones that I last generated here. So preferably within, I don't know, the last. Can sometimes be a little tricky though, because sometimes the generation doesn't like load for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why that is, to be honest. Neither here nor there though. We basically know it as this being the newest gen, and we'll pair that up with probably this one and see what we get. And with any luck, hopefully we'll get the right drop rate. Anyway, so with that in mind, I've also got my first upgrade. Now, on the breeding base, the reason why I'm a little excited about this one is this is the first Horus Sky God that I have. And what this does is every 6 seconds, it's going to do 100% current, 100% counter, 240% skill damage, plus an amount equal to 2% of the target's current HP. And after every 3 casts, it then directly defeats the target if the HP is below 5%, after which dealing damage equal to 2% of the target's HP per second for 3 seconds. So this one's kind of interesting compared to like the active skill, which only applies every 15 seconds. And so I thought, oh, well, let's just try and get ourselves one that, hopefully gets the right combination of bonuses. Now this one, we still have to train this one out, so it's going to take a little while. I do have a Michelle, though, that I'm trying to work on as well, for much the same reason, and it's just that, where Michelle works is every 50 instances of damage taken, you deal another 200% AoE damage, 80% of current, combo, AoE, and counter, and 2 of those become stuns. But the one that I really think is cool is Nico's Illusion, which every time you get healed 16 times, it then deals damage equal to 4 of current HP, which to 4 of current HP is kind of a confusing statement, so I'm kind of curious as to what that does. I don't know if that's 4x of current HP, 4% of current HP more likely, but it's not, not very well, not very well done there. But yeah, I mean, that's, so those are kind of where I'm at with the new avian. I'm more excited for getting Horus, if anything, because the Sky God avian, I think, is going to be really, really interesting to pair up with. Because, again, a lot of people kind of avoided Grim Reaper just in part because Grim Reaper's skill is just not that super handy. But he's kind of like a Grim Reaper type avian. So for that reason, I'm kind of curious, would that be good in, say, PvE? Now, of course, as you guys already know, Christmas Wonders on full works. Of course, there's always going to be somebody that's going to ask the old dreaded question of how on God Green's Earth am I supposed to get all of these and get all these bonuses, and then conveniently I'm looking for clues, right? And you might be wondering, like, the Sure is best place for fishing. Will my pal take the bait? And that's a huge one. Try reeling it in. Maybe wondering, where do I look? Clue 3, that's the grumpy, and 2 is where that's where you find your pals. And then the first one is the Sure best place for fishing. That's, of course, that's a fun one. Again, these are all things that you can go out and find, and again, it's not terribly difficult if you haven't already found them. Of course, there is Snowball Jingle going on in full works, and naturally, if you guys want to save some money playing this game, I really do recommend checking the description down below for Aptoide, because again, I've been using Aptoide for years, and I've never really had a problem. And honestly, if you're going to be playing this game and you're going to be spending, you're going to need all the savings you can get, and Aptoide is a really good app service for that. Like, you will frankly find yourself saving a lot of money doing it. Now, that said, of course, I've got 2 links for both the game and then also the AppCoins wallet. You got to have both in order to be able to use it, but I mean, pretty straightforward. You just download the app and then play Aptoide's version, basically, of the game through the installer. So you don't just download it off, you don't go back. Basically, what you got to make sure you do is link your account to Google or what have you, uninstall this game, and then download the one from the link down below and install it. Then get AppCoins wallet and install that. Make sure you save your wallet key, because again, it's a cryptocurrency wallet. If you don't know what a crypto wallet is, basically think of it as like the keys to the kingdom to being able to exchange back and forth over crypto, and in this case, it's AppCoins. And so you've really got to, strictly speaking, you want to keep that safe and probably not hand it out to everybody, and can be, but I digress. The main thing is once you acquire it, you can then start taking advantage of all the bonuses and benefits that comes with using Aptoide. So, that said, I will digress into one thing only, and that is that I am getting prepared to eventually switch over. I did have somebody ask me in my guild not that long ago, like, dude, how the heck are you getting such a crazy high score? And like, the recent last couple of updates, people are kind of not noticing the uptick in damage that I've been able to pull off until, I guess, just recently. And a real big bone benefit to this, my friends, is you got to have Cheetah Zero. And a lot of people don't have Cheetah Zero. So the people that don't are now like, well, I have the Crescent. And it's like, okay, whatever. You're not that cool. I have the... And so everybody and their dog is going to want the Cheetah Zero the next time it comes up for grabs. And I promise you that this is still true even to this day. It will end up being in favor of people that have it versus those that don't. Now, as far as guessing goes, this has always been a fun... Yeah, who do you place your bet on? Who's more likely to win, And then, conveniently, your odds of winning are 5. Okay, well, then I'm going to go dump all of it into that, because why not? The ones that are 1.5 are, like, the least likely to win. So, naturally, you're not going to get as... how do you say? You're more likely to get a higher reward payout, but that's also assuming they win. So... The cost is slower, but that also means you are more likely to lose. So you kind of got to know your stuff, and you also have to know, which one's going to win and lose, and vice versa. And if that's not something you want to do, then just bet on the 5.0 ones, and 90% of the time you're going to be fine. The other 10% of the time is when you're not right. And that's, the beauty of the guessing, I think, is that you don't really know whether it is a surefire guaranteed win, but you're relatively positive, but not completely, and the closer it gets to the ending round, that's where it becomes a lot more, just because of the power difference, it's not enough to gauge whether they're actually good or not, and so for that reason, I'm not like too pushy one way or the other, guys. It's just like anything. This is all of what I do on a daily basis. It's just running these routes. And then this on Cloud Ascension Trial, I'm only on difficulty 22, but to give you an idea just how difficult this is, like, I'm running a pretty even amount. And even with the lifesteal that I get, this is not enough. Like, they are ridiculously overpowered. I mean, to the extent that I can win and keep myself alive for only so long. Like, the challenge is not only that and the timer, so it's like you have to kind of fight between the two. Now, I mean, given that that's the circumstance, as you can tell, one of the reasons why I'm a really big fan of the lifesteal that you get with the Spectral Chant, which comes off of the Castle Kenvilla Pro, is for this reason. Like, it's kind of hard because once you have it, you can fundamentally change the way you play the game, because now you have a lifesteal, and in the case of running an archer build, you basically never run out of experience or XP or anything. Like, I can even swap this around. So, like, if I wanted to keep him alive, I could just do this. Like, I'll put myself in the front and him in the back, and he'll be able to probably heal a little bit, but at least I can get the damage output while taking all the damage, which, as you can see here, even though I'm taking all the damage and I die, it's like, okay, not the greatest feeling in the world. I could also just as easily swap it over this way and we're probably okay. We'll see. I don't know. Just to give myself a little range, because the longer time that they have to spend walking, as you can tell, that's going to make it that much easier. But on the downside that I guess he still ends up dying. God darn. Trying to like do it in a way in which he doesn't die, but that may not be possible. Either way, that's the beauty of Cloud Ascension, is trying to find an equation in which you can max it out. Yeah, but see, as you can tell, I can't do it by myself, so we're just going to have to do it this way. Bite the bullet, and it's either me or him, and that's just the way it is. And there's nothing I can do to change that, which is unfortunate, but that is, in fact, where we are at this, so it is what it is. We'll just make the most of it. Well, hell, I don't even know if I'm going to win. I may not be able to. I don't know. Well, so, like, as you can see, the nice thing about the lifesteal is that it's like, it keeps you alive even when you think you're going to die. And it gets that much better if you've got, like, a shield in between. It really does make a huge difference in terms of what you gain out of it. Now, here is, again, it's going to be kind of dicey. I don't know if this is going to work. You may be wondering, like, why the thorns? And it's simply to slow them down. And it's only because I'm not using a snail. Otherwise, I'd use snail and take the thorns out and put something else in its place. But yeah, no, see, like, we came out on top on that, so we're good. And then we just keep jumping through and, rinse, repeat, and run through these as much as we can. Now, it does help to have a clone in this, but I don't use the clone as much. And that's both to my disadvantage and to my gain, I guess. In that you don't really have a lot of control over whether or not that clone's going to live long enough for it to even matter. It kind of works for you and against you at the same time. Like, this obviously isn't going to work, so we're not going to be able to do it that way. If I go this path, I might get lucky, but I just don't see it happening. I may end up having to actually switch this out, because one of the advantages of having, like, the car, for example, is you can launch. It's that, or you go into a complete, like, slow blitz spree. But here, I'm just not going to be able to do enough damage. We're actually hitting a floor with this one. But yeah, I mean, it's worth it. I still got 2 more, so we might as well just go ahead and take the 2 extra items, which we're going to grab those, because I'm a firm believer in having a lot of cakes, just because I've made so many advances in the direction that's gotten me so far has really kind of worked itself out. I am grabbing the damage resistances up to 4, and that's the last of the 4 that I'm going to do. Because what I think I'm going to end up benefiting from, even a little bit of, a 2% gain is still a 2% gain. But I'd rather go ahead and probably max out defense boost and HP boost and get all the other bonuses from this point forward. But that's just currently where I'm at on the build. Now, as far as, like, pals, this is one I'm running on pals. And then this is one I'm running on skills. And then as far as the actual talent tree, I guess, the big picture is basically you just want to have skill damage and crit damage. Then I just kind of focused on those 2, and then in the fury tree, I just grabbed more crit damage, and that's all I grabbed. I didn't really bother doing anything else. And yeah, I mean, that's really about all you got to really do. And then when you do it all that way, of course, I have flip-flopped a lot on this, but I still feel like this is better just because of all the global combos that I've got in this. And until I actually get the correct, I would say, crit damage bonuses that either provide crit or global, I don't necessarily feel like those are worth it. Like, unless I can get one of these with a decent global, I'm not too pushy about changing these. Just because even though, like, this has combo damage, it doesn't have global combo damage. Like this, one in particular. I mean, hell, even this doesn't actually. So really, I mean, conceptually, that actually may be a choice of of debate there. But, like, even here, like, global counter is not doing me any good, but this does. Like, I got global counter in there. Or a global combo, that is. That's doing me a lot of justice. Plus, I've also got basic in there too, so that's really, really good. But Again, part of the reason why I kind of focus on those secondary stats is for that reason. So I'm just stacking a bunch of the other ones, and I'll probably make another set and start playing around with it when I actually get the correct pieces in line. But other than that, I mean, really, I use the Alien Dimension, and then I use that with the Castle Candelabrum and the freaking goddamn Cheetah Zero, guys. And those three together work really, really well together for me. Now, not everybody has them, but, you know, naturally, this is what I'm running on relics. And again, I could just as easily, like, if I wanted to, I could swap this out and put on, like, Storm Necklace for the clone, and that would be totally fine. But in any case, that's what I'm running, and this is what my plume build's like at the moment. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.